Hey guys, it's Greg Alexander. Today I want to talk about clear water tactics, clear water strategies, the different things you have to do if you want to be successful catching fish in clear water as compared to stained water or muddy water. Now, if you are interested in catching fish in muddy water, I do have a video that I put out on muddy water posted here at the top right now that you can access and look at to learn how to deal with muddy water situations. But we're going to talk about clear water today, and what's different about clear water than stained water and muddy water. Well, there's a lot of things different, and here's the list, and then we'll kind of talk about each one a little bit at a time. You have distance, speed, realism, finesse, stealth, deeper, overhead cover, top water. Those are the things that you need to remember with clear water, and we'll go through each one of them. The first thing that's very important in clear water situation as compared to dirty water or stained water is the distance that you fish away from the fish. If you get close up on a fish in clear water, then he's going to know you're there, and it's going to put him on alert, and he's going to be a lot more difficult to catch. So maintain, with clear water fish, you want to maintain a maximum distance. There was a time with smallmouth bass fishing years ago that you could get, right over top of a school of smallmouth in 20, 25 foot of water and drop straight down on them and catch them. But in today's world, with the amount of fishing pressure that they get, good electronics, everybody can get on these fish anymore. And these fish are very conditioned to, boats and things, and it not being a good situation for them when they get caught. So now you really can't get over top of these fish anymore in that depth of water unless you're fishing some remote places with uneducated fish, or fishing considerably deeper than that, 40, 50 feet, to really get on top of them and not really spook them off. So now, what we used to be able to do dropping on these fish, you actually have to cast to them where you can't, catch them dropping on them anymore. So distance is very important, even in clear, shallow water situations where the fish, may be up under docks or under overhanging branches or trees, things causing shade lines, stuff like that. Then you have to back way off of them now, not to spook these fish or to make them wary of who you are. So distance is very important in clear water situation. Remember distance, keep your distance. Speed is another thing. You can fool a clear water fish by speeding up your retrieve. For example, a jerk bait, if you're working it slowly, you give the fish time to recognize that bait, and he's like, something's not right. Where if you speed it up quickly, or you're burning a crankbait, or you're burning a topwater, or you're burning a fluke, you can get these clear water fish to react to something because they really don't have time to analyze it, and in their instinctual we gotta eat mood, they see something getting away and they're going to have to capitalize on it now, and they'll go after it. So increase your speed for reaction style baits for clear water fish and you'll do better. Realism would be the next thing, and realism, it's pretty much self-explanatory. Something that looks fake, something that's got a bad paint job, something that just doesn't look real, looks like an old school lure or something like that. The fish are going to be way more wary of those things, and they're going to realize that this is not my normal forage. So along with realism would go match the hatch, which would go with what are these fish generally feeding on? Are they feeding on shad? Are they feeding on herring? Are they feeding on glass minnows? Are they feeding on bull minnows? Are they feeding on yellow perch? And all these things. And then you would want to, use a lure that closely mimicked, realistically mimicked the forage that these fish would normally be seeing in clear water to get the fish to react to it. And then probably the most important thing, and well, not the most important thing, but one of the most important things in clear water fishing would be finesse. What you could normally get away with, a bigger jig, a bigger worm, a bigger crankbait, a bigger spinnerbait, a bigger jerkbait in clear water situations with fishing pressure, you're not going to be able to get away with in those situations anymore in clear water. So, you know, you're shrinking your bait size down a little bit. You know, you're going from 5-inch Senko to a 4-inch Senko, or even a 3-inch Senko. You're going from a 5-inch jerkbait to a 4-inch jerkbait. You're going to a 1/4-ounce crankbait instead of a 1/2-ounce crankbait. You know, you're using smaller topwater popper lures and things like that that you would normally use in regular stain water situations or dirty water situations. You're on your drop shots, you know, your rigs are getting smaller and more realistic. Part of Finesse is realism also, natural colors and things like that. So Finesse, you know, the more, even not just necessarily in clear water, but the more pressure fish get, more fishing pressure that they get from fishermen, the more Finesse you need to go. And don't think that you can't catch big fish on Finesse, because you absolutely can. They'll eat it. The next thing, stealth. Stealth is very, very important. You can't just motor up to the spot, shut down, slam your trolling motor over, start yapping with your buddy, slamming your live well lids, opening and closing live well lids, stomping around the boat, and having loud conversations. If you do that in clear water, they know you're there. The fish know you're there. They're on alert. They're like, what's going on? Something's going crazy here. And the fish are not going, they're going to go from, you know, possible feeding mood to let's get out of here, something's getting ready to blow up type attitude. You understand? Water translates sound way better than air does. And I remember as a kid, we would be swimming in the pond, the lake, the small lake that we swam in as children. And underwater, you could hear the motors from the motorboats running. And I would come up thinking, man, I'm getting ready to get run over by a boat. And you'd come up, and guess what? He's not even in sight. He's up around the corner, up the other arm of the lake. But you can hear him underwater. And when you came up out of the water, you couldn't even hear the motor with your ears through the air. So just remember, you know, sound translates through water a lot better. So, you know, I get fishing sometimes, and you're fishing around other fishermen, and you're pretty shallow, or what, you're in a grass bed or something on the Potomac or the Upper Bay or some of these places where you get big community hole type fishing, and you got dudes carrying on, laughing, carrying on, and that's fine. You know, everybody likes to have a good time and talking loud. And I'm thinking to myself, I got to get as far away from those people as possible, because they have just put these fish on alert. So calm down, be stealthy, don't make noises with your trolling motor, keep your trolling motor on a lower speed than you would, you know, in other situations, and you'll do better. The next clear water strategy that you need to consider is deeper. You're always going to want to fish deeper for the most part, except in a couple situations which we'll talk about. Deeper is better. The fish don't like to be exposed to predators from above. They don't like to be exposed to, you know, direct sunlight in most times of the year, and they're going to get down below that light penetration level where they feel exposed, basically. So you want to fish deeper. That's relative, obviously. Some lakes don't have, you know, water over 10, 12 foot deep. So deep in those lakes might be 6 or 8 feet. Some lakes are 100 feet deep or 200 feet deep, and deep in those lakes might be 40 or 50 feet even. So it's going to be relative to your lake, where the forage is, where the thermocline is, because the fish aren't going to go below that. But you're going to want to fish deeper. Get off of the bank most of the time. In clear water situations, get off of the bank. Now, the only other time you're not going to get off of the bank in a clear water situation would be if there's ample shoreline overhead cover, which means a lot of docks, overhanging trees that create overhead cover for these fish in a clear water situation. That will keep some of the fish shallow because they're now covered by docks, overhead trees. So that's something to consider also. Now, as far as other approaches to clear water situation, most of the time in warmer seasons of the year, late spring to early winter almost, a topwater bait is probably going to catch the best fish in a clear water situation if they'll respond to it. So topwaters will fool clear water fish better than most any other thing other than finesse. Now, what am I talking about with topwaters? We're talking about poppers, spooks, wake baits, flukes, things like that that you'd move quickly on the surface of the water to get a fish. Well, you know, in reality, that fish can only really see the silhouette, you know, and they say, you know, on sunny days you want to throw chrome and on cloudy days you want to throw bone. And that's a pretty good rule of thumb because, you know, that just gives them the best silhouette based on the conditions that you have at the time. So remember those things. By the way, here's a side note. Have you seen these new Yeti cups? Right? They got this magnetic lid on them. And you can turn that thing upside down and it won't leak, and then you just pop it open. Get your coffee. I'm not promoting Yeti. I'm just saying, for your boat, man, I spilled so much coffee over the years in different cups and things. This one now, I can put it in my cup holder. If it bounces out and hits the floor, I'm not going to spill coffee anywhere. So that's just a little side note for you. So anyhow, these are some things that you need to remember about clear water. I'll go over it one more time. Distance, speed, realism, finesse, stealth, deeper, overhead cover, and top waters. If you apply those things to your fishing techniques in clear water, you'll be a better fisherman. Again, if you like my videos, you want to watch them on a regular basis. I've been putting out about one a week along with some shorts. If I can get to 1,000 subscribers, I'll do more videos. I can't invest that much time into it right now until I can get to that 1,000 subscriber rate. If you help me out, share it with your friends, hit the like button, put a comment in there that helps grow the channel. It would be much appreciated. Thanks for watching and have a blessed day.